Time now for a big story. Let's move to Pittsburgh, where the Steelers locker room appears to be a lot calmer so far this year. Ever since the departure of Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh is clearly optimistic that there will be less drama this season, with Big Ben pushing back hard against the idea that Mike Tomlin has lost the locker room, saying, quote, "When people speculate things, very rarely is it true. So we all just kind of shook our heads, kind of laughed. It's unbelievable the things people will make up from the outside looking in." All right, I think the Steelers' whole offseason has been about narrowing the chaos to AB. AB was the reason why Mike Tomlin got criticized as a leader. AB was the reason why Big Ben's lack of leadership was perhaps exaggerated in their mind. Fair to attribute Tomlin's leadership problems to Antonio Brown.
Oh, we're going to put this all on AB, huh?
Yeah, I am.
No, we're not. Nope. Tomlin was there first. So whatever was in place in terms of culture, in terms of enforcement, in terms of restrictions, should have been in place to make AB fit into that mode, not all of a sudden the mode changes for AB in that relationship. Two, this offseason sounds like someone who is really trying to deal with the symptoms and not the illness. And you ever get caught up in that, if you ever go to the doctor and you keep chasing these symptoms, you need to get to the cause first. And I'm not sure. Huh?
AB. Nah. He's the oldest, but go ahead.
Okay.
AB's
Roethlisberger was there before him, too. Everybody there, elder statesmen, but it wasn't on them. It's on the young homie, huh? It is not on the OGs. Okay. And the last thing I want to say about this is I hope that their season is not drama-free, because part of team building and part of team success is overcoming adversity. And if you look at all the Super Bowl winners that you can see, they've all had to overcome something, whether it's the Patriots and the demise in Foxborough, or Carson Wentz gets hurt and what the Eagles going to do. Oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl. You know, you look at these situations, everyone has adversity to deal with. It's not always in scandal, and it can't always be pinned on one player. But with that said, they're going to hit a dry patch. They're going to hit a rough spot. And if they still going kumbaya and Fantasy Island out there, maybe they're not mentally ready for that moment.
Look, I think AB serves as the example. So, no, all the problems weren't with him, but I think he serves as the shining example as to what was going on in the locker room. When it plays out in real time in Oakland, and then you think about the stuff that they were dealing with in Pittsburgh, it does make you think, man, maybe AB was really not all of the blame, but he certainly deserves his share of it. Because when you go back and you look, the guy missed a game, the guy had the Facebook Live post, the series of incidents that have kind of come along with him, it makes it hard to not pinpoint him. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger has not been the model leader. Yes, he doesn't necessarily do it the way that we've seen other quarterbacks do it. But when you see AB go to another locker room and have some of the same issues, it does kind of absolve Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers for the lack of leadership that may have existed in the locker room.
No, not at all. He's part to blame. AB, he's part of the blame.
You played with Chad. I can't believe you're saying that.
But when you have a head coach that should establish a culture and a set of rules. Now, your best players are going to be allowed to break the rules to a certain degree. But when you step over that line, nah, that's it. You have to enforce it. But this will trip me. You look at what Ben Roethlisberger said about James Washington. He texted me, called me, talked to me in person, thanked me for that when he killed him. The reason James Washington did that because he's James Washington.
Say it.
Now, when he becomes James Washington, and everybody knows that name,
J-Dub,
you criticize him like that again.
Yeah, I bet.
And see if he does this. He did that because...
So he's going to lose his humility, and that's Ben's fault.
I'm not saying that's Ben's fault. Ben act like it was okay to call James Washington out because he thanked him for it. James Washington is trying to earn his way into the league. He's trying to become a household. He's trying to become a household name.
That was
and
great.
So
again,
great comeback, but
he's in.
Not right.
Look,
That's not how it works.
This is what I'm telling you.
If James Washington comes back at Ben Roethlisberger publicly like AB do, what's going to happen?
Holler, let me come holler.
Mike Tomlin is going to holler at him.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if AB goes at Ben, Mike Tomlin is going y'all need to handle that.
You can't let...
It's different.
You can't have your personality be willy-nilly based on success or failure. You need to be the same guy.
I'm not letting Ben Roethlisberger call me out.
He's your quarterback. He's your leader. Look, I want to go back to Mike Tomlin because I'm just blown away, TJ. You played for Marvin Lewis, man. And to me, I think Marvin Lewis never got his proper respect as one of the best coaches in the NFL. What he did in Cincinnati with Mike Brown and how cheap the Brown family is, is amazing.
I agree with that.
And you know, he had one big problem at a wide receiver in terms of establishing a culture. He had to deal with Chad.
Part of it. He's part of it.
A big part of it, though.
But it's not.
Why couldn't Chad get on board with this black coach? Why couldn't AB get on board with Mike Tomlin, this black coach? This is what drives me crazy, and we just excuse it. To me, what I'm hearing from Ben, what I'm seeing from Tomlin, they so glad to get.
But Ben could have handled this different. Let's go back. You bringing in Chad and Marvin.
Yeah.
Carson handled it so different that they never had those type of problems between Chad and Carson. Look at the problems between AB and Ben. Because the way Carson handled it was completely different than the way Ben handled it.
And don't act like
that Ben is wrong.
Yeah, don't act like that blown knee in the playoffs could have changed the entire narrative of what happened in Cincinnati with Carson Palmer. Let's not act like if that playoff game and he doesn't lose his knee, y'all were rolling that year. So who knows what that would have been? The whole narrative changes. But that's football. The thing about this is, we can't forget how it goes. And you know how it goes. When you're a freshman, when you go into the first meeting room and the seniors are in the back, or you're a rookie and the vets are in the back, you don't just unroll your personality day one. You got to, one, earn your keep, earn your way, find your way, and then show your voice. And that's how it goes. And then everybody's saying, you changing. You're like, no, this is the unveiling of who I really am. But in deference and reverence to the situation dynamics, I'm a slow play this. AB slow play this. Roethlisberger slow play this. Ask Jerome Bettis and them about Roethlisberger day one to now. Not the same. So let's not act like this brand newness is a negative connotation. That's how all rookies come into the league. Then they start to feel themselves.
Darnell, I know you agree with everything I said.
That clapback was strong.
Did you miss anything?
I don't know, Whitlock, but yeah, let's stick in the AFC North, where Browns head coach Freddie Kitchens was asked if he was at all concerned that Baker Mayfield and OBJ have yet to play together in the preseason. Check this out.
Just because he wasn't in team drills doesn't mean they weren't working. You know, it's fairly easy. You know, you learn what to do. You learn where to line up. You learn what to do. You learn the depth and the area you're supposed to be in. And you've got it just about figured out.
Are you guys buying that he's not at all concerned?
Yeah, he's very concerned. He's a first-year head coach. So he has no, even if things were going well, he's paranoid and nervous because this is his first time. Well, I certainly remember my first time, and I was scared to death.
Man, I'm not telling you. Oh!
What you talking about, Whit?
It's around lunchtime, too. You a fool. Look, it's amazing that when you come from humble beginnings, people always trip off when I say, like, I was happy being broke. I didn't know any better. I didn't have any different reality to choose from. So therefore, when I ain't get much, I thought it was everything. This is how he's feeling. He's like, I ain't got no alternative, y'all. These dudes already haven't worked out that much. What you think? I'm supposed to think about, whoa, what if they could have? He's living in the reality that has been dealt to him, and he's saying, we're going to be fine. Now, in his ideals, I think he wanted something different, but this is the reality he's living with. He's just going to be fine.
Look, man, these guys have thrown the ball enough to know the chemistry and the connection, to understand the body language that's necessary to know when people are coming in and out of their breaks. They've worked together here in L.A. They've done it in mini camps and other things where they've had their private workouts. It will be fine. Will it maybe take a game or two to fully get on board? Not enough to really make it a big deal.
He's concerned, but he can't come out and say, I'm concerned. Because then they going to get concerned, like, man, do we have enough time with each other?
Right.
If they play well in the game, it won't matter. And if they don't, oh, man, we should have had him practice more.
There it is.
All right, coming up, after nailing a 55-yard field goal, it looks like Carly Lloyd was offered a real shot in the NFL. We'll tell you what we think about it next.